Okay, so the first thing that shocked me a lot about the reading was how big of a component religious organizations play in the nonprofit sector. I think it's because I always considered nonprofit like the for charity kind of work, and I, in my head, thought that churches helped nonprofits instead of being them themselves. But when they were talking about like hosting the AA meetings and hosting soup kitchens and stuff, like using the facilities, it started to make more sense to me why they would be linked in with the rest of it. And then another thing that really surprised me was how big of a role like services played in funding the nonprofit sector, because in my head I have like that grand idea of like, oh, nonprofits are like, when they're fundraising, it's like balls and the galas, and like kind of when museums are fundraising for themselves, they do like all these events with like people in dresses. But I guess it does make sense after thinking about it a little bit more that it would be more service based and like being paid for product or service that they put out. Um, in high school, I was on the NHS board, so I did a lot of volunteer work with a lot of nonprofits. I mostly focused on the public libraries near us and helping organize events for kids over the summer, like the readathon or type that kind of thing. And then I also did a lot of volunteer work with our like community public farm, which is mostly used to teach children about like sustainability and healthy eating and like treating the world like we are borrowing it type of thing, which are both things that were really cool and eye-opening experiences for me. I don't see myself having a career in the nonprofit sector, mostly because of just like what my degree is. I don't really see how it like plays a role, like journalism and writing. I can't like think of a position it would be. I'm not closed off to the idea. If the opportunity ever presented itself, I would be stoked, but I don't see it happening right now. And the like issues that are like really close and dear to my heart are, like I said before, like just access to education, and especially for like children, but also like adult education and just building lifelong learners. Because I feel like a lot of people are in less than stellar positions because they weren't given the access to the information they needed to succeed, especially disadvantaged communities where it's just like the whole cycle of poverty just starts over again because people aren't given all the access and resources that advantaged children or communities get. And then another one I'm really big on is prison reform. My sisters are all adopted, and their families have a lot of history with like just the system and things like that. And it's just, I think that we need to treat prisoners with more humanity than we do. And it needs to be more like a rehabilitation type program instead of a punishment. Because I don't think people learn from punishment like that. I think you need to teach them why they don't have to commit crime, because no one really wants to commit crime. Yeah, I could go on about this forever. So yeah,